UDL exchange. I just don't know what like the individual contributions are.
Yeah, because it says like to get feedback, but then there's like never instructions to share anything with our group. So I don't know if it's just like feedback on our like midterm. I don't know.
I was thinking, but then I thought it would be feedback of what we chose for the UDL lesson plan from like what we read that we chatted last week about. I don't know.
Because I mean, I pretty much just inserted my midterm lesson plan into the UDL thing.
Yeah, that's what I did. Like, I really didn't do anything differently. Like, it was like more in depth, I think, because it was like different criteria, but it wasn't like it was pretty much copy and pasted.
Yeah. So I don't really know what to do for the individual contribution.
Yeah, I mean, all I changed in my lesson plan was maybe kind of like the beginning, how I kind of introduced my fraction as a whole. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I felt like I had, enough hands-on or like visual, and maybe with what you guys did with more disability, I have more like assisted and more like technology in my lesson plans. Like I have an iPad instead of, just having paper and pencil, what I had. So I had like an iPad so if people, can't like cut or anything, they can draw it and then they can send in their homework like what you did, Tegan. I think you can have it connected in an iPad and you can turn it into the teacher. You needed to, and that's all I really changed. I didn't like drastically changed my lesson plan.
Yeah. I just like kind of added more like in-depth stuff and like with like the reflection and stuff like that. Like I obviously probably like went more in depth on like my thought process. But for the most part, I did the same. I mean, like after like the reflection from like the last module, like I think it'd be a good idea to like include a video in there somehow. Not that I would know how or like what kind or like how to find that. I think that's hard too. Is like would be like how do I like what resources do I use? How do I find good educational videos kind of thing?
Yeah, I was thinking too, like for mine, I had them all like filling out like this worksheet, like regardless of what station they were at. And so I felt like as I was like reflecting on like the UDL website, like I was thinking that I probably should have included like different ways for them to express their knowledge, because it was all like, even though there were a bunch of different activities, like it was like still like writing it down like as you went on a worksheet, just super like versatile.
For mine, I was thinking about how I addressed more the needs of like the middle and the people that need the extra support, not really the higher critical thinking learners. And so, because a lot of my activities, like you're cutting stuff out, you're moving stuff, and like if you already know how to decompose fractions or like have a basic understanding of it, like you're not going to want to do those activities.
Yeah, I think that working with like gifted and talented students is almost harder than students with disabilities, because it's easier, well, at least for me, it's easier to be like, okay, like how do I make this more accessible? Like how do I do it all these different ways? Like how do I change it? But it's almost harder to be like, how do I make this harder? How do I make this like more challenging? How do I, like it's almost harder for me. And maybe that's because I haven't like had a class directly on that. But like it's hard to think about like, we're going to do this group activity. And like in the lesson that we did for LLC 340, when I was like doing it with like all of my centers, like that's what I found, is that I was like, shit, these like smart kids are getting done with this and they're bored and I don't know what to do with them. And so it was like, I just had to like come up with stuff like out of my ass. Just be like, like I was like looking around the room, like just like asking them questions, like, because we were talking about like the short U sound. And so I was like, does the word exchange have a short U in it? Does computer have a short U? Like I was like looking around, like just trying to like somehow engage them more. But I'm like, I prepared for like the students that like needed more, like that may have a disability or something like that. Like I prepared for those, but I didn't prepare for the ones that are kindergarten working at second grade level. And like, how the hell am I supposed, like, how do I even do that?
I know, like, I was in a gifted and talented class in elementary school. So, like, at my school, they would just, like, they put us all together.
Yeah.
And then, like, it was more, like, student run, I think, than, like, a traditional classroom. Like, it was a lot more of, like, exploration and kind of like dive into your own thing. Because if you're trying to like plan activities for someone that's constantly just like exceeding your expectations and like not like interested in it for very long because they already understand it and want to move on, like it's easier to let them kind of take control. But like at a kindergarten level, I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, like I was in like a gate class, 7th grade, but like they would just pull you out of like reading, and so they like would pull me out of reading and go to a class where like, and it wasn't just like reading based, and like it was called like challenge, and like it wasn't just reading based, like it was like we would do physics projects and writing projects and like stuff like that, but it was very like project based, where it was like critical thinking, problem solving, like more like creative. Instead of being like, here's this concept, let's master this concept, it's like, let's like have to master all of these and put all of these different things like together, which like I see how you could do it, but I don't know how you would do it at like such a primary level.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially in kindergarten, like the kids that are eventually like gonna be like tested for that and like proven to be like exceptional students, like you don't have that basis yet, and so you kind of just have to like go with the flow, hope that you have enough to engage them and that you're like helping them grow as much as they can and not like stunting them.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things is that I've been in schools where it's like mixed grades, and if you have a really smart 3rd grader, it would be great to like put them in a 4th grade classroom, and like just so that they can experience, like 3rd graders can experience a 4th grade workload if they are feeling up for it. But if they can't do it, then like it's not like they feel like they're being told that they can't skip a grade.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing with that is like maturity level. Like, you know, I like saw kids like in my school and stuff like that were, because I went to a private school for 10 years where they didn't have any sort of GATE program or special ed program. And so like they would have kids like skip grades and stuff like that. And like always the problem was that they weren't at like a social mature, like life skill level. Like intellectually they were there, but like in every other part of their life they weren't. And so it hindered like their life skills, like growing up as like an actual human, not just like in their academics. Like it hindered that because they like didn't make friends, and you know they were isolated and stuff like that. And so, and I mean, granted, like most public schools have GATE programs, but like private schools obviously like don't have to. But I feel like that's like the only like risk to like having students like jump grades and stuff like that, is that like, yeah, they may be like hella smart, but they like sometimes kids that are crazy smart aren't always the best in social situations.
But like you can't overlook those social like situations, because like we taught preschool, they're not like if they were like kind of close on the cutoff or whatever, like we would talk a lot about like, okay, like socially, what can they do? And like socially, what do they understand? And like, how are they relating to people? Because like a lot of being in school and of just like being a person is learning like how to navigate those relationships. And if you're not at the same maturity level, like you're always gonna like feel left out or be falling behind or like get made fun of, which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the nice thing that I like about Sage, is that like in their mission statement, it's like we're creating world thinkers. Like we're not just creating smart kids that are gonna we're shoving into the workplace. Like we're creating people that are gonna be active members in the community. And so like I feel like they really value like creating people, you know, not creating students, but creating like thinkers and like learners and like critical I mean, we're creating the new generation to be functional members of society, right. And making them Einsteins isn't really going to help a functional society. Like we still need them to be able to like think about social situations and have empathy and sympathy and like, you know, be able to do those things as well. And like I think that a lot of the time, as like that goes past in education, like we think that it's just about academics and don't think like, actually, like these kids spend more time at school than they do at home. So like, yes, it's their parents' job, but it's really ours too.
The academics are like, as much as they like seem like the focus, like I feel like they're honestly like kind of a small part, like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
There's so much more happening in a classroom than like just the content.
Oh yeah.
I'm a care, even though you guys are definitely higher in schooling in that sense. I'm still, what is it, daycare, since because I work with 1-year-olds up to 5-year-olds, and in our daycare, well, at least with me, at least it's kind of fun because I challenge the 5-year-olds going on 6 because they're pre-K going to kindergarten, and what we do, I mean, this class that we have right now is very smart. They're very they're smart about play. Because my other class I taught was smart academically. And so this class loves to communicate. So when they do worksheets, I don't like really have them like, drill on the worksheets. I talk them through it. And then I know some of the students are like smart enough because this one girl at nap time, she doesn't take a nap. So we give her books because she is learning how to read already. And her mom, it's part of moms too. She is pressuring her to read. So we're like, okay, we can't, we're not going to deny it and so we give her books and so she reads to us, but much like how we do have students that struggle, so I mostly sit with them and I just communicate mostly with them, and then people that don't struggle, I kind of have them, I give them instructions, simple instructions, they understand it, they do it, and if they have questions they let me know, because last time I tried to help them, this one girl, okay, whoa, sassy pants, already, don't be so rude, gosh. But it's interesting how, like, the young age, yeah, we do definitely at that young age, I don't pressure so much on schoolwork, but about the concepts and thinking in that, so they don't, they don't feel pressured to always do work. So, but it's fun learning with the younger ones.
It's definitely like along those lines, like learning beyond just like the academics. It's really critical in the workforce because if you don't have those skills, you're not going to get the jobs.
Totally, yeah.
You're not going to do well at your job because you're so awkward that you can't talk to people.
And just like you're not going to be a good human if you don't like care about people and don't know how to communicate with people.
Like I feel like you see that so much in the medical field, is that it's like they're so focused on like being doctors and surgeons that they don't think that you're actually working with people. So you actually need people skills and social skills, and like
some of them are rude. And then you go to the appointments, I'm like, wow, where do you come from?
And I mean, I think it's a lot because they don't learn those, like they don't have those classes. Like my sister's in nursing school right now, and like she has specific classes on bedside manner. Like how to socialize with someone, and like she has like friends that are in like medical programs and like surgeon programs and stuff like that, and they don't have classes like that. It's how do I cut this person open and where's the liver, not hey, like this is an actual human that you're doing these things to. It's like it's depersonalized, and I think like that's rough.
Right. Well, and it's like the thing we said like about like the gifted and talented kids, like the people that are going to med school are obviously like really intelligent, like hardworking people, but they don't necessarily like have the people skills come as naturally as someone else might.
Yeah. And like their intelligence is natural. It's not going to go away. Like it's not going to stop. And so if we take some time and, keep them in their class, give them extra activities, but keep them in that class and work on those social skills, especially at a young age, it's not going to hinder them. It's not going to hurt. Like, they're not going to not be Dr. Thomas simply because we kept them in their 5th grade class instead of jumping them to 6th grade. But like learning those social skills will make them a better doctor, will make them a better lawyer, will make them it'll make them better at what they do, because like careers are they're not simply academic.
You don't exist like in some academic vacuum no matter what you go into.
Yep, everything we all communicate somehow.
Agreed. No, I don't think we're talking about anything about what we're supposed to be talking about. But
I don't know what we're supposed to be talking about.
Hey, we're having a good conversation about education, right?
Good talk.
Yeah.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to write for my own contribution.
I'm just gonna write like the couple things that I thought of that I could improve, like by looking at the UDL website.
Like reflecting on your own.
Yeah, that's like I don't really.
That was our big assignment last week, though. I thought.
That's what I put last week. Oops.
Hmm?
But
Last week, wasn't it reflecting on like other people's lessons?
I reflected on my own lesson in UDL.
me too. I reflect my own lesson on UDL.
Oh, I think it wasn't last week when we like ranked 4 lessons.
Yeah, but then after that, it said that the next
Oh, the
file you
assignment
have
was the
to,
reflection.
yeah, your reflection of your own. And then this,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
I don't know. Mm.
Well, I guess I will just reflect on mine again.
Okay.
You know, I guess keep perfecting it.
Can't ever reflect too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Does someone want to like write a summary of the meeting in the notes too?
Do we need to? It doesn't like look like there's a space.
Oh, is there not?
Like, because usually there's a place where it's a summary of notes, right?
Yeah.
There isn't this time.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Oh, I don't know.
Letting us go easy since it's almost like midterm, like finals.
Yeah. Well, this is the last one too.
Oh, it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, this is the what? Sorry.
This is the last like hangout that we have to do.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes. Mhm.
Right. Are we good?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thanks for being so cooperative this semester.
Right
Yes,
semester.
you guys do.
If you're letting me join your guys' group.
Yeah.
By all means.
It worked
Yeah.
out.
I will see you guys all in class probably.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.